Hi everyone, it's that time to talk about where we are, what we've been doing. So I thought I would walk you through all of the things that we've done so far this year. I'll go through the subjects first of what we've done so far, and then I'll go through what we've read, and then I'll talk a little bit about do we have burnout or not. I think everybody is probably in some form of burnout in some way, shape, or form, but Morgan and I are a little bit different, and I'll explain why at the end. So here we go. So first we do our 1 sentence a day journal. This is a 5-year journal. Morgan has hers, and I have mine, and so we each write a sentence a day, and I think it'd be really neat, kind of historically, to go through where we were. This is our first year of homeschool. Morgan's in the 4th grade, and it'll be really neat to see where we are year by year on the same day. It also helps with writing as well. We're not doing a formal writing program this year. I think reading and getting Morgan to enjoy freestyle writing and creative writing is just where we need to be for the 4th grade. And so I also have her do the 1 question a day. And she just reads the little question, she sits and thinks about it, and this is part of her morning routine. This first part is a lot of things that she can do on her own in the beginning in the morning when I'm getting my coffee and getting myself together. She has her morning start. We have Fix It Grammar, and if you see my grammar video, you will know that we don't have, just not 1, but yes, 2 grammar curricula. And so we like both, and I couldn't decide which one, so I bought both, and then I tried them both out on Morgan on the same day, and she liked it, so we just stuck with it. This one, Morgan can read the rules on her own, and she can do this on her own, so this is part of her morning start. And this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday through Wednesday in the afternoon, we do grammar, the well-trained mind grammar. And this is level 4. This is the last level before it goes to what I call maintenance mode. She will learn everything she needs to in this book, and it's really fun. Each chapter is only maybe 15 to 20 minutes long. And so then after that, after this level 4, and we've not done this before, and we started at level 4. I was a little worried about that. I thought, well, what am I going to miss in the 1 through 3? No, this is just fine. And then we go into, hi, buddy. There's the dog. He hears me talking and needs to participate. Then after this one, we go into maintenance mode, and we just each year we buy a new book from Well-Trained Mind just to keep ourselves current. And I'm learning a lot in that too, because I've not diagrammed a sentence until this year. We also I got IEW. I didn't do their writing program yet. I really do want to try it. So I will definitely buy IEW when we're ready for a formal writing program. But in the meantime, I thought the poetry memorization book was a good idea. I used to have to memorize poetry, and I still have it in my head, and I love it. So we've done this. Morgan's done, she has 10. She just finished her 10th poem, and we're going to do 1 more. I'm going to find one in French for her, and she'll memorize that 1 more before Christmas. We don't do every poem in there because she's found some that she likes from Shel Silverstein and other locations, so we add those in. Now, for math, we started with Saxon 3 because I wasn't sure where Morgan was, so we started in Saxon 3 in summer school and then moved into 5-4. So we are in Saxon 5-4. She loves Saxon. She likes Saxon 5-4 better than 3, and 3 is put out a little differently. It's just a little different. You can still recognize it as Saxon, but Morgan likes this one's a little bit more clean and a little bit more direct with what she's learning each day. Because I still thought that maybe we had some gaps just from not remembering things, and instead of a spiral program, I chose a mastery program, and we started just with the straight up basics. Even though she's in the 4th grade, I got Alpha from Matthew C, Alpha level, because I didn't know where to start. So I thought, well, then let's just start from the beginning. Morgan ripped through this in less than a month. She said, I'm ready. What's the next one? So then we're now in beta. We're going through beta almost as quickly. She's enjoying it. I do Saxon math. I sit with her if she needs me in the morning. We do Saxon math in the morning. And then for her quiet study, she has several pages within a lesson in her quiet study that she can pick up and do on her own, because a lot of this really should be review, and the repetition speeds up her subtraction and addition, and then we'll get into multiplication and division. after beta. We'll continue with two math programs until Math UC and Saxon have merged, where we're going along the same path in both, the same topics. And then at that point, I'll give Morgan the option of whichever one she wants to keep. I don't care. I like both of them, so it's up to her. It's her schooling. She can choose. Then we have French, and I have many of these at any given time. This one is the Vocab Booster Brainy Books Beginner French Workbook. I'm using anywhere between 3 to 7 of these different types of workbooks from various companies because I cater Morgan's French daily to what she's learning with me and what she's learning with both Duo and Babbel. She uses 2 online programs. And so I can hear her using them. And when I'm talking to her, I know what she needs. And so I pull from this and many other books to decide, well, maybe we need to do verbs today. We need to do sentence building. But every day we do listening, speaking, reading, writing. And if you're curious about language programs, I have a French and all others in the very end of my YouTube video, all the other languages and tests that you can take and what you can strive for. And so we do this and several others, but I really like this one. That's my go-to book. And from there, she's got a lot of readers. Oh, I have a note because I cannot live without my stickies. I should address Duolingo and Babbel. We started, one of the very few things that we actually changed in our homeschool program this year so far was we started with Rosetta Stone, and it was so glitchy. It was so frustrating. It was frustrating to just watch her trying to wait, when you want to learn it, and it was glitching, and she'd just wait and wait, and we were waiting more than we were doing. So I looked around and I chose Babbel for her, and she likes that a lot. It's very similar to Rosetta Stone, but a little speedier, not in learning the language, but speedier with their lessons. And so they alter her doing verbal, speaking, and writing and reading a little bit faster than Rosetta Stone, although they're very similar programs. She just likes that one better. Duolingo is great. Duolingo is so fun. And we can do it together since we have a family program. And so we both get on Duolingo, and I can see her and she can see me, and we can do challenges and stuff. Even though I'm in an intermediate level in French and she's at a beginner level, we can still do challenges, which makes it just so fun to do with her. So those are what we do. And then I balance that with readers. These are some examples. We really like the book set, Language Together, and this is just an example of one. We read these all the time, and then when she gets used to them with me, I put them in her quiet study workbook in the afternoon, and she can read these to herself aloud. And another one is Samy à Paris. This is an example book of Samy and Julie series. J'apprends à lire, I'm learning to read. And so these are authentic French children's books. And I mean, even if you're a teenager learning to read, these are great books to start with because we all start in the same place with our second language, don't we? And so this is just really fun because every photo in all 3 of these examples, every photo matches very well with the text. And so it just really helps for you to think about what you're doing and understanding what's going on in the book with the language. And one we've picked up that we really like is this series, Je suis en CP, I am in first grade. And very similar, it's a little bit more, this is not a starter book. This is more like a 3 to 5 month in book. So this is a starter book. And then I would go with Samy et Julie, but you have to make sure it's niveau CP, it's beginner, because these have first, second, and third grade readers too, so you got to make sure you get the beginners. And then again, I would say this would be the 3rd series that you would pick up after that. We love all of them. I've been reading these to her predominantly on my own. I read them to her, but she's been reading these on her own now. And then continuing on with French, but also writing, we like cursive, and I like the up and down cursive of European cursive more than American cursive because I had trouble slanting when I was Morgan's age. And so I picked up this French cursive book because it sort of does two things. It teaches her cursive, obviously, but it's in French too. And so it kind of gives more vocabulary for her. And she really enjoys it because you can do sentence building in here as well. We've done 2 unit studies. A lot of our social studies, other than history and our science, is done in unit studies in 2-week units, and we have several weeks interval in between to kind of mix things up. So we've finished 1 unit study so far this year. and we're in the middle of another. The first one we did was The Good and the Beautiful Space Science. There aren't a lot of 2-week programs out there, and I found that The Good and Beautiful has nice, clear, quick unit studies for science, and that's what we did for that. She really enjoyed it. I always marry up a field trip with any of our unit studies, and so we went to the University of North Dakota and went to the astronomy department and spoke with a real astronomer, and Dr. Fieberbeyer. She was so nice and just wonderful to Morgan. She didn't treat her like a kid. She spoke to her like an adult and answered all of her questions. And it was just so fun for Morgan and really fun for me to see. It was so nice of her to do. And then, so we finished that up. And then a couple weeks later, we started character and etiquette. I was going to do health, but I did not like, once I opened up our health book, I had thought it was going to be okay when I bought it last February. And now I'm growing a little bit more opinionated as I am kind of inculcated into this homeschool environment. Again, I mean, we're just starting. I started homeschooling her for summer school, kind of as a warm start or a soft start, I guess, and then really got into it. We started, when did we start? The 7th of August, I think, formally, or the 3rd of August. And I opened up because I was going to do health, and then a week of health, and then a week of etiquette and character building. And I just did not like it was master books. I didn't like the layout anymore. I didn't like some of the topics or how they were presented. It just didn't work for us. There's nothing wrong with master books. It's just, you know how it is. You know how it is, you know your kid, and you look at it and go, no, it's not for us. So no knock against that curriculum at all. And I know that all of you are similar, where you look at it and go, that was, or that was great then, but it's not now. And so that's probably one of those things where it seemed like a good idea then, but now that I know my kid a little bit better, I know I've got my style, I'm working on another one. So when I get that, I'll present it as well and let you know, give a review of that. So then instead, we're going to do 2 weeks of character building and etiquette, which I think is like really important to know etiquette. And I think character building is just a great thing for kids want to talk about themselves. And what better way to let them talk about themselves while you're discussing character building? It really gives them things to talk about. They really feel like, of all of their subjects, it seems like when they talk character and about themselves and other people, it gets them to open up. And it gets them thinking. It gives them opinions. I try really hard not to give Morgan my own opinions, but as her mom, she's probably been ingrained a little bit by my own. And so this is my way of telling her that everybody has their own way. There's all tolerance levels, etc. And you can have good character in any setting, in any room, in any public area. You can still have good character and not agree with people. So that's one thing that we're doing. And with that, it's what do you stand for? And this is a teen book. So if you've got younger kids, many of the topics are fine for younger kids. Just screen it if you want to, because there's some teen stuff and there's some kind of higher order thinking when it comes to like politics and warfare and stuff like that, where they talk about, well, if there was peace out in this country and not in this country, how do you feel about that? And in 4th grade, I don't think we care about that. So at least I think that's a bridge, just something that we don't need to talk about yet. So think about that. I think it's good for littles as well as teens, and just screen the chapters beforehand. Then let's see, our etiquette. Oh, another character building is character building day by day. This is really nice. It gives a definition. There's assertiveness, acceptance and tolerance. And then each little chapter has several scenarios. Each page is a scenario. You read the scenario and there's questions at the bottom. It's very easy to make your own questions, and you sit and you just talk about the scenario. It's simple as that. And then modern etiquette made easy. We really like this. We're going to have a formal little private dinner party at home with our family and do place setting, set the table, and have dinner, and you know how you use your knife and fork and spoon and everything. And I really think that etiquette is really important, especially when you go into a public setting and you know how to behave. The younger the better. The younger, the better. Etiquettes and manners, plain and simple, successful tips for successful people, best practices for boys, girls, and future leaders. And this is nice. So this was place settings too. One really nice thing about this book in particular is at the end of each chapter, there's a little notebook page. And so you can encourage your child to take the book and to read it and also make it their own. They can write in this book and what did they get from that chapter? How did they feel? Ask them a question and they can answer it in there. And that can help with writing as well. Then we move on to history. One of my best books ever. I mean, holy cow, this is amazing. Susan Weisbauer, thank you very much. What you have done for homeschool moms. This should be presented in schools. There's 4 volumes. You're supposed to start each volume. You're supposed to volume 1 in first grade, volume 2 in second grade, and then once you get to 5th grade, you rotate. So you do each book twice. But in the 4th grade, we're just starting. We are almost halfway through already. We're doing at least 2 chapters a week when we're not doing unit studies because they're really fun. They are amazing. And you can wind geography in here. This is history and geography easily, and many other topics if you want to make it. And there's reading suggestions along with it that can just be overwhelming. You don't feel like you have to do them. But if you have a child who takes particular interest in a certain era or has a certain question about something, you don't have to go hunt for it yourself. Susan Weisbauer has done it for you, and you just look up in the other workbook of this chapter and it says extra reading and topics. I'm not sure if it's grade level or there's some that you want to read to your kids and others that kids can read to themselves. And also, it, of course, depends upon the age of the child. This is a one-stop shop history, and good history is really, really hard to find. This is just amazing. So we are. We're going to start volume 2 before the end of 4th grade. We're just going to rip through these. We just love them. So I'll very shortly be owning all 4 volumes. I have a history degree and I complain constantly about history books. They're boring. If you want to just kill a child's soul, it's, make them memorize a bazillion, dates and then wars. Ugh. So this just makes it really accessible and really helps you learn what is going on in the whole world, which is great. So now let's do reading. Okay, so these are the books that we've read. These have either been read alouds or shared reading. And by shared reading, I read one page, Morgan reads another page, and we just go back and forth until we get really tired of reading aloud. And then a couple of these have been private reading where Morgan's read them on her own. So as I go through, I'll explain which one is which. So Little House in the Big Woods is what we started with. This was a read aloud. Loved it. Little House on the Prairie. I think I've read this 3, 4, 5 times. Read aloud, loved it. Black Beauty, I read this to her because this is the original unabridged, and it can be tricky because it's got older English in it. I had to buy 3 other books that claimed they were unabridged and claimed they were original, and they had completely changed the text to make it modern language, which is fine. But if I want to read a classic to my kid, I want to read the classic. I don't want to read somebody else's version. So this one from, I don't have my reading glasses on. It's like, by the time it's this far away, I can't see the writing. This is Puffin Classics. And now it's my go-to for finding a classic that I know is unabridged and really unchanged in any way. That's fine if it has an intro, fine, but don't alter the text. Loved it, read aloud. Pippi Longstocking, Morgan read this by herself. She liked it. Exit 13, Whispering Pines. This is a good book. Morgan read this by herself. She really liked it. The Hobbit. Oh, this book is packed. Love this book. Read aloud. Amazing. I couldn't find a curriculum or anything that would help me online as a book review. And so I created a literature guide. That's what I'm trying to say. I couldn't find any literature guide online they had like cutesy things where mostly kids cut things out and colored, and not here. So I made my own, and probably will start making my own from now on. And so Morgan loved the literature guide that I made, which was really nice, made me feel good, and she loved the book. It's amazing. Morgan chose this she wanted me to read Dracula to her. So I read the whole unabridged Bram Stoker Dracula to her. Unbelievable. 5-star book. Frankenstein, not a fan. Dracula, definitely. So that one was a read aloud. Oh, Little Women. Who doesn't love Little Women? We love Little Women. This is an amazing book. Read aloud. And now this book, Morgan had started reading on her own, but she wanted to read it faster. And so we turned it into a shared reading. And so now I read one page and she reads one page. And we get through it a little bit faster. And we'll be finished with it. Let's see. Yeah, we're more than halfway done. We'll be finished with it by next Friday. We'll be done and on to another book. Now, what we do is we have reading logs. So one of my own personal goals is to read 100 books in the year. And I'm close. What am I at? I'm at 88. I need to kind of book it. Excuse the pun. I got to book it to before, I got to get there before December 31st. So I have a few more books to go. I was ahead and now I'm behind because I'm homeschooling. Don't judge. So Morgan has one too. So all of the books that Audible counts, if she's listening to a book, reading a book, if I read a book to her in one of our texts here, she has her own logbook. And it's really nice because you've got the list in the front. So you write the book that, what is it? It's the number of book that it is, the book title and the genre. And then you go to it. It's like 30. What did I read? What was number 30? 30 was Rock, Paper, Scissors. Good thriller. And then in Rock, Paper, Scissors, you write it out and give it a rating. And, did you read it or was it a paperback or hardcover or whatever? So we're doing that. Let's see. I have my notes. Why? Because I always forget something without my notes. One thing that nobody ever talks about is PE. We're in North Dakota and PE is a requirement. We're in a portfolio state. We're required to take attendance. We're required to have X number of days. I think it's 187 days of the school year. We have to have at least 4 hours of school a day. And then we have to have certain topics. We have to have certain subjects. And one of them is PE. And so I also think it's important to do PE and I like it. So we have so far done horseback riding. Judging by how tired Morgan is by the time she gets back from it, I mark it as PE. We do swimming a lot, jogging. We take long walks. Long walks is a really big deal. It's good for mental health. It's good for your physical health. It's good for the dog. It's good for conversation. And it's just great to start a routine and to kick off our morning. We take long walks every morning, even when it's minus 25 degrees out and 2 feet of snow, as far as you know. We'll see how that works in January. Yoga is good. Volleyball, Morgan did basketball with her school, Foursquare, tetherball. Did I say volleyball? Yoga. Yeah. And a whole bunch of other things. We're always running around doing fun things. Calisthenics. Calisthenics is like, we do HIIT outside, high intensity interval training just for fun. We do a bunch of, like a circuit where we do jumping jacks and push-ups and all that stuff. And so it's kind of fun to do. Get our blood pumping. And then for music, Morgan started the flute. So she goes to the band teacher at our school, at our public school here. And our school is really supportive of homeschool family. There's a lot of homeschool families up here in North Dakota. I didn't realize. They're very supportive. And so Morgan participates in music, and she has her band teacher is giving her flute lessons to get a head start on band, which she's going to take next year. And then next year she'll also do volleyball with them and basketball with them as well. Okay, the other sticky note that I didn't want to forget was, are we burned out yet? I see a lot of homeschool moms burned out. I think they have more kids than me. So, I definitely do not judge there. If you're teaching 6 kids, your likelihood of burnout may be higher than mine. I have one daughter here, and we're homeschooling according to how it works for just her. I don't have to accommodate other children. And so this is also our first year. And so I think our first year maybe is the best year because we're still so excited about it. This still feels new to us. It's just really fun. It's getting funner. It's getting more fun, funner, whatever. And we're not burnt out yet. When I feel like we're dragging just a little, I wouldn't call it burnout at all. We mix it up with a unit study. That is really great. So, Yeah, we're not burned out yet. And I don't plan on doing that either, because every time we have a unit study, we also have a field trip. We're planning lots. I have a YouTube video on that too. So unit studies with field trips, or science, I think it's science and field trips. And then I think between all of those things, and we drive to Grand Forks to go swimming, and Morgan's doing flute. So she gets out of the house. She's still visiting with friends. She's still part of public school if she wants to be. That is just working out really, really well for us. So that's where we are with homeschool so far. We're a week from Thanksgiving. We will start to not slow down, but the week before Christmas, we're going to do half days, and then we'll be off for the full week of Christmas, and then we're going to start up January 1, bang, right back at it. Probably with a science unit study. I think that'll be really fun. But when we do a unit study, we drop everything in the afternoon, which means we're not doing the Well-Trained Mind grammar and history. And we love this book. So while we do like a unit study, maybe I'll wait another couple weeks, because when we get back into school, I know that we're going to want to jump back into our history book because we like it so much. So that's where we are. And I hope you're doing really, really well with your homeschool. If you don't homeschool and you're interested in it, it's wonderful. It's great. It's exciting to learn your own kid and to know her. You know, you think you know your kids, but then when you sit there and you watch them learn, you can literally watch them think. You can figure out if they're having trouble or not without them saying anything. Just the closeness and the tightness is just naturally built into homeschool, which isn't something that I knew would happen. I mean, I knew we'd be together more, but I didn't realize how wonderful really that would be. So no, we're not burnt out. Morgan is not burnt out, and I'm not burnt out. And I totally get if you are. So if you are, change up your routine. No matter what, we keep our morning routine our routine. And so if we need to mix something up, we mix it up in the afternoon. Try it. Try mixing stuff up in the afternoon so you do get your core done. If you need a core, if you have a core that you really, really need, get it done in the morning. And then our core is math, French, and reading. So if we have our cores, then in the afternoon we could do all sorts of other things. Try that. And it's just a wonderful thing to do. It's so much darn fun. So that's it. That's where we are. And I'll do another, I guess the next one will be, I don't know, end of year review, or I don't know, maybe I'll do a monthly thing. But we love our homeschool, and I hope you love yours, and I hope you're doing really, really well in yours. Truly, I hope you're doing a great time, having a great time, and doing really, really well. And reach out if you want, ask questions if you want. I love talking about it. Have fun. See ya.